God they presented to you?
An old man with a grey beard sitting on a throne somewhere, and controlling everything like a puppet master. That's what I conceived growing up. You just thought the spirit was there, and if you did the wrong things, it was watching you. I don't say he because it can't be a he. It was watching you and knowing everything you did. Well, that's irrational. It's impossible. I mean, I used to fast, and if I ate, I felt guilty, terrible guilty. What? Because I was told this God thing is going to,
Let's revisit what you said. You know, the God concept of God given to you is a someone who's on the sky, who's holding a stick, right?
Yeah.
So he's like a slightly bigger extension of human form, right? You can imagine he has got a beard, he's got probably a big mustache, yes? So we actually give a resemblance in our head, right?
Yes.
And of course you denied it, right? And
Well, I believed it then.
You believed it then, because why?
Because I was a child.
You were a child,
Yeah.
and this was actually a preaching to you, rather than you.
Force-fed. Yeah.
Fine. I actually would have rejected the same way. Do you know why?
I didn't reject it then.
No, you did. No,
Only when
because
in my 20s.
because you are young,
Yes.
and you're a child.
You believe what
You
your
are listening.
parents
Yes, exactly. But the moment you started to think for yourself, you know what is right and wrong, what is good and bad. You have some rationality that you live by.
Start thinking
Yes,
for yourself.
yes. So you have those tools of reasoning, thinking, pondering, making a judgment between right and wrong.
right.
Crossing the road, you look at right, left, you cross the road. So we apply all those tools, right? Then you realize, okay, how can that man shape, which is limited, which is within the universe, be a maker of this universe, right? You are right to reject that God, because we reject the false God like that. Because why? The God cannot be contained within the creation. This is the biggest part we need to understand. Anything within the realm of within the universe, anything within it, anyone call himself, any being, any animal, any object, we can straight away outright reject it. Because we are saying, from a religious paradigm, creation cannot be, the creator cannot be smaller than the, how do I say, I'm saying other way. We are saying that in that paradigm, the creator is smaller than the creation. And the creation contains the creator, which is absurd. It should be, yeah.
That's why I like to ask people who do believe, like yourself,
Yeah.
when you think of, well, I'll use the word God,
Yeah.
what do you see? What do you imagine in your mind?
Exactly. So now, I'll give you 4-line definition.
Okay.
I want you to think about this concept. Do not bring any preconceived understanding. Listen to my point and see, is this something you agree on?
Okay.
God, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say Allah, He is one. So when I'm saying He is, I am making a disclaimer, and it's clear. Quran makes clear, by the way. But no. I'm
going to say, I was brought up saying that in Hebrew.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You God is one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So God is one, right?
Well, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Allahu Samad. Allah is self-sufficient, and everything else depend on Him, and He doesn't depend on anything else.
Okay. I know the
think
word Him is always used.
No, the Him is
it's
for
not
for
it's not a person.
fine.
It's a thing.
So
It's a belief.
yeah. So in our paradigm,
Yeah.
this Him was not a male, not a female. So don't think the Him means someone is sitting on the throne, on a sky and holding a stick. Yeah.
Jews and Christians conceive it like that, I think.
Yeah, the Christian conceived it like that.
Yeah.
The Moses didn't conceive that way.
No.
Okay, fine. So now the question go back.
But God gave him the Ten Commandments.
Yeah. So now the second,
Being a
yeah,
God, then that's
yeah.
A thing, a person.
Yeah, a person, but when we are using a person, we are using in an anthropomorphic way, meaning we are comparing with the human creation with God. But we are defining. So if something is, so Allahu Samad, that he is independent and everything else depend on him. Now think about that.
Yeah.
Anything in this universe, are they dependent or are they independent?
Everything in the universe, I would say, is dependent.
Exactly, precisely.
One form of life. I believe.
So now, should we happily reject the concept, any God in this universe? People are calling anyone a God in this universe. We reject it on that basis. Don't you agree? That's the rationality, the simple logic. Yes?
The trouble is, there's so many gods.
No. I'm not talking about. Let's step by step. Do we agree that if something is depend on something, that cannot be God?
It can't be God.
It can't be God. Imagine Jesus Christ.
Well,
let's
depend on the sun.
Sun, right? So that means the plant can't be God.
No, of course
Exactly.
not.
So Jesus Christ, or any Hindu gods, or the cow, the moon god, and any gods, we can see they are dependent on something else for their own existence. So therefore, whoever worshipping them, they actually falsely attributing those objects as a god. So we are saying anything within this universe, they can't be God because they are dependent on something else for their own existence. You are following me, yes?
Yeah, of course, as I said, the gods are Zeus, Odin, Ra, from the old.
So we actually rejected all the false gods now.
I know. Well, they believed they were gods. The people at the time absolutely
People
believed they were gods.
people believe the moon is made of cheese.
Yeah, of course.
So people can believe all sorts of things, but it doesn't mean that it's true.
I know. We call it. Sorry, I just want to finish this point.
Yeah.
We call it mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Norwegian gods.
Yeah.
But the people at the time didn't think of it as mythology. They believed it absolutely as gods. They prayed to these things. The ancient Egyptians, they prayed, they believed. And now we come and we say it's all mythology.
Yeah.
Don't you think today, in 2,000 years' time, they look back at today and say that people then had this mythology and reject it?
Yeah, people have different civilization. People actually preached and followed so many wrong things. It doesn't make everyone wrong, but there are a group of people who always have truth, and there are a group of people who will always false belief. As someone who's sincere, someone who is looking and judging what I have in front of me, I have intellectual faculties. We don't deny those things.
No.
Look at the common things within us, and look at the tools of our daily operation, judging right and wrong, good and bad. If we apply those tools, can we come to a conclusion at least to reject the false god, which you are doing now? Because a process of elimination actually take the impossible option out and leave you the possible option. Because if there is a 10 box, in a box, if there is a box, and if I say there is only one correct ball, and which is white, and the rest of the 9 ball are different color.
Okay.
In order to find that, all we need to do is to remove all the different color ball. And then you will finally remain with one ball which is white color. And then you will not only find the ball, you will also be certain what you find. So same way, this will give you we call it yaqeen in Arabic, meaning certainty, that's the only ball remains. So same way, when we eliminate this, all of the gods that people are worshipping within the universe, from a logical point of view, we can eliminate those and say, no, these gods are false gods. Now, logic goes that the ideal God should be outside the creation, because he's made the creation. He's bigger than the creation. He's more mightier than the creation. He's more powerful than the creation. And the creation itself is temporal, within time bound, and the creator must be timeless.
You know the old question they asked, though, is who created the creator?
Right.
That's the and there's really no answer to that.
No, I think that you know what, you are partly right. You know why? Because there is no answer, because the question is not correct. Let's revisit. Okay. So
makes sense.
No, question is now
sense.
Exactly. So first we need to define what is creator. Then we will challenge based on the definition. if I say you are a man, can I ask a question? Oh, are you a tiger or are you a cheetah?
Yeah.
So, because you already define you're a man, why should I impose an idea whether cheetah and tiger? So I am actually injecting a contradiction to make confusion. So what we are saying here, when we say creator, by definition creator is someone who's uncreated. So if I something I already define uncreated, can I just say, oh, who created the uncreated creator? Look at that.
Well,
Look, the creator we define now through our logical conclusion, it is uncreated creator, not the creator itself. It has an uncreated notion because it shows everything else is dependent and the creator itself independent by itself. So it doesn't require anyone else for his own existence. So now the question, if the question was correct, let's say we fix the correction question. Who created the uncreated creator? People will laugh at the question and say, look, this guy, who? Yeah.
Well, we back to square one?
No, exactly. So now, people will laugh at that question because this guy's gone mental. He needs to be directly go to the hospital. Please give him some treatment, some medical, probably a good sleeping pill for him to have some rest.
Yeah.
Probably not mentally fit enough. So that's why we said this is a word game. This is not a concept. The concept is the creator is uncreated. He cannot be. So an uncreated cannot be created at the same time. It's like paradox, married bachelor, right? These are paradox. It doesn't exist together, right? Yeah. So we are saying, so those questions, that question you asked, that who created creator, you can see how much
I know
inherent contradiction within the question.
People do ask that question.
Yeah, but
I know it's unanswerable.
Because why is unanswerable? Because it has an inherent contradiction. Because the question has been poisoned by saying question make an input that maybe creator can be created, which is in a Christian paradigm, because Jesus is someone is created and they're calling him God. But in Islamic sense, this doesn't apply. This doesn't apply because our God is not created but uncreated. So definition, and do you remember when I met first time and I said, when you are rejecting God, are you rejecting the true God or the false God?
Yes.
And then I've later on, my investigation suggests that you actually rejecting the false God, not the true God.
Yeah.
And Speaker's Corner is a great place. We learn, we share our thought process, and as a Muslim, I say Allah guides people. Yes, Allah guides people who are sincere. So now question is, we come to that being, that one great being we found out. That's the God we worship. Now you can call Allah, you can call Ar-Rahman, you can call Ar-Rahim, whatever name, but you know the characteristics. So Allah, that's being we call, and that being is not like man. He's not a human being. He is unlike the creation. He's not comparable. He is unlike anything we see and observe in our reality. That being is the God that we believe in.
But you also believe that this God judges you and watches you, watches every person on the planet, every second of every day, and hears what they say.
Yeah. So, God judges and God sees. Question.
That's a human attribute.
No. I tell you why it's not human attributes. Human attributes, I'll tell you why. Why it's not. It has an anthropomorphic understanding. God seeing is not like our seeing. Our seeing is limited. That cannot be comparable with God seeing. God can see all the world without any defect. So, by this definition, understanding, you completely know that our realm of seeing and God's realm of seeing is completely different and unlike. So how God is seeing is suit whatever his ability and his might, but we know the creation is limited, temporal, and God is not temporal. He's uncreated, he's all powerful, he's al-hayy, ever living, he never dies, and he doesn't he has a cause of fatigue or tiredness. The way when we think about anthropomorphic, about he speaks, he hears, but that in his paradigm. Why am I comparing with human paradigm? This is the problem, because when we look God as a human being, and this is why I say this is where people reject false gods, because in the Christian paradigm, God was someone seen as a human being.
Talking about Jesus.
Yes, exactly. And this has been preached. Although you may be rejected the idea, but you grow up with this cultural notion. That's why you are actually rejecting the false God, but you are not rejecting the true God, because the true God concept was not given you even before. That's why I'm saying in Islam we are not allowed to do likening, meaning we cannot make any likeness to God.
Yeah, images or...
Yes, exactly. So God said there is nothing like unto him. Another place says there is nothing comparable to him, meaning anything we see and observe that cannot be equatable to God. So God sees everything, but did he see like us? No, because we are limited, we are temporal. God is beyond, his power is whatever suits his majesty. So on that notion, I would say you know that deep down that there must be someone. There must be someone, because that follows from our logical how do I say, examples.
Yeah.
So
I hear what you say.
So that we say Allah and the name. Now the question is not about name. The question is, did I understand? Did the logic or the rationality that I have, did that follow to that point? Yes, it did. Now, second question come. Now we have established God existence. Then you would ask why he created me. So either he has few things, either he directly speak to you, either he send a message to you, or he chose any other medium. So what would be the best medium, would you say?
For God to communicate.
Yeah. Now we established that God is not a human being. He is not unlike. So you have to think from a different paradigm, not from a man concept of God paradigm.
Well, the only thing I can think about this God that you refer to is fear of life. Because they think that if they do anything wrong, they'll be judged badly. So it's fear that keeps the belief going. Should you not think that's also a good thing for keeping our society intact and protected? Yes, there's laws.
Exactly. So that's me.
Human laws. Yeah.
No, but that's why human laws are fall short and God's law are not fall short, because God's law are not bound by any self-interest. Because why should he have self-interest when he doesn't need of anything? Human being always twist it, but God is not depend on anything. He has no self-interest. He is not biased, so he will give a law to test who is good and who is bad. It's reasonable. And now...
But God is insecure.
No, he's not insecure.
Look at the Ten Commandments. They shall have no other God before me.
Yeah.
Why is he want? So there are other gods, in other words.
No.
Yes.
No. The idea...
Why would it say
this concept is no other God. Meaning, can be true God and the false God can be same. No, because a true God is the owner of the universe. A false God is the creation. So if you start thinking a creation and giving the rights of God to a creation, that's wrong.
I'm only going by the Ten Commandments.
Now I'm saying...
Do not say my name in vain.
When I am going...
I'm not mocking.
No, I am going in the paradigm of true God and a false God. So when we establish false gods and the true God, then we go to the paradigm of the true God, that how did he communicate that message? So he sent human messengers to communicate his message. So because the human messenger will be an example to people, and they will show by living their life what to mean and how to please God.
Well, if God was all this powerful, why does he need messengers? Why can't he just deal directly?
Yeah.
Why does he need messengers? Prophets, hundreds of prophets. Why?
Yeah.
So powerful.
So now question is, if God comes to you and tell you to follow, if you don't follow it, what will happen?
Well, That's so hypothetical, it's unlikely.
No,
God's
because
gonna come to
you in front of God and you reject God, you would have no second chance.
I don't reject God, I reject the concept of there being.
Exactly.
such a
Now,
thing as a-
even if God comes to you in front of you, would you be able to tell He's God?
God couldn't come to me because there's no such thing. Don't you? We're going around in circles.
No,
From
my
my perspective,
No,
it can't happen.
No,
because there isn't-
maybe don't go for a preconceived idea. Rather, go where we follows. Did we not follow our conversation
Yes, I
that
do.
there must be one being?
But I'm never going to concede the fact that I'm going to believe that there's a supernatural entity.
It's not about
God.
belief anymore. It's about
It's all about
when we apply our rationality, did it not concluded that there is a higher being already?
No, I've always not come to that because I don't think anything created.
No, like I
before.
said, that's why I need a counter argument from you on otherwise, because we have reached to that conclusion. There is a being required, and the creation cannot contain that being, and then you agree with the false concept. We actually agree on many things, then disagree. What we agree on is the false concept of God that within the creation itself. Because the creator cannot be contained with the creation by logical sense.
Yes.
Then again, we say now.
Because that gets rid of the argument who created the creator.
Yeah, because we have established that is uncreated. So uncreated cannot be created. So it's a paradox. So the question itself has inherent contradiction. So then we move to that creator, and we already demonstrated his characteristics by looking at the creation. It necessarily, God requires power, ability, and might to create all these things. And my question was, if we already established this might, power, and ability, and all of those, then which religion follow the concept of God of this understanding? Then you will come to see, oh, that's Islam. I'm avoiding. I don't like Islamic practice, and I don't like Muslim. Now, how can I reject it? So now a rational person would say, look, it's not about what my preconceived understanding is. The conclusion follows like that. Now, should I hold on to my belief, or should I change my position? That's not mine. That's onto you.
Yeah.
I'm not here to force anyone, because my concept of belief, my creator never told to force anyone.
Yeah.
It's a compulsion, is you should choose for yourself, because we believe there is a consequence of this message, that if someone accepts it, God will forgive his past sins. So even if you think, oh, he will not forgive me, that's out of the window. In fact, all of the bad things you have done in your life and the good thing, that will turn into a good thing. So there is a hope for you. You'll be cleansed. But that's from a religious paradigm once you believe it. But question is, can you deny that being, the higher being, that is not contained in the creation, that is the absolute truth, the ultimate God that we demonstrated? What would you all say? What would you say?
Well, my starting point was, and still is, rejecting the concept absolutely of supernatural. Ghosts, gods, hundreds of gods, 3,000 gods they're supposed to be. Prophets in all religions. It's just, it's beyond belief, but it's beyond.
No, the question you said about gods, different gods, multiple gods. We have established now this point that you can have millions of gods, but it doesn't mean all million gods are correct. So we have established the true God and the false God. And I said, you are partially correct to reject the gods that are limited and dependent. And the God we are talking about, the true God, is independent and not depend on the things for his own, and need others for his own existence, right? So therefore, I actually presented to you a concept that you said you didn't hear before. So now you have to judge what you have heard from me, not from the preconceived idea that you have.
All right.
Should you now, would you say logically, is there anything we have agreed? Can you disagree?
Well, all I will say is this. You reject 2,999 gods.
I can reject
believe one.
I believe one.
I just believe one more than 2,999.
What do you mean?
Because I just dismiss 2,999 of the 3,000 gods. I dismiss just one more than that. That's the difference.
No, what you have missed is, I have missed all the false god, and I
Call it false.
No.
What
Because
gives you the right to call it
exactly.
false?
Now, the whole point of the discussion I was doing is to show you the concept of God that given to us, human being. We find the concept of God, the God has been described as a dependent being, someone who needs someone else to exist, his own existence, and someone who needs food, shelter, drink, and all of these things. And I demonstrated that all of the things are temporal, and these are creation, and they were given a level that they are God. But I'm saying they are false God, but the true God is the creator of all these things that we are worshipping, right? So now question is, I have done the correct thing by rejecting the false God, but I didn't reject the true God. But what I am asking you, why, yes, you reject the 2,999 God, but why are you rejecting the true God that logically you followed there?
No, I'm not. It's not a matter of true or false.
Yeah.
It's a matter of just rejecting one more God than you do.
Okay, why did you reject 2,999 God? What is the reason?
You do.
No.
There's 3,000 gods, they say, in
For example,
literature,
okay.
have ever been identified.
Okay, now
You
I'll
dismiss all of them but one.
No, I ask you one question. So we have 3,000 God. Why I reject 2,999 God? I am clear, and I told that they are depend on their own existence. They need someone else to their own existence. Therefore, they are dependent on something else to exist.
I don't know how people who believed in all these gods thought of them.
Yeah.
From the Ra, as I said, the sun god in ancient Egypt, to all the other gods.
Yeah.
I don't know how they conceived them or thought of them, but I just believe in one less god than you do. That's all.
Yeah,
That's
but that close, like when you're sweeping out, you are throwing the dust and cleaning things, clean things as well. Like if
throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to protect the baby. Yeah, baby is important.
I know what
so
you're saying.
no. So the question is, my point here is, when we reject, we should reject what is wrong. We should not reject what is correct. Because if I come to a conclusion that is correct, and I'm rejecting just because I'm making a general principle of rejecting it, then I'm rejecting something truth, and I'm accept something later on, something false.
Yes, but that judgment or conclusion you come to is based on your belief.
No.
Yes, it is.
No. No. I have.
It's true.
No. The belief one comes from belief. Belief comes from my rational exercise, right? So did we apply a rational exercise to come to that belief? Yes, we did. Because we apply some logical argumentation that me and you, we can go agree with beyond belief. Then the belief logically followed when we made this conclusion up. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you reject 2,999, I'm with you, but accept the correct one.
The one.
Correct one. But anyway, it was a pleasure talking to you.
And to you, mate. I just want to say one thing. You think of, in this God concept, not only you, but everybody who believes, think there's a God who's all benevolent and good and filled with love. But there's another side to that. Who created cancer? Who created AIDS? Who created all the viruses? It's all life forms, so the same creator must have created them. But he never gets bad press for that. You know, I just that thought I just had to mention.
Yeah, this is a very important point. But can we, these things you have mentioned to me, that because these things are bad, is this come from an omnibenevolent God? Yes. So that means in an Islamic aspect, right? In our concept of God, God is not only all loving, He is all powerful, all knowing, He is judge. Yeah. So we need to look into all of the characteristic of God. One of the characteristics of God is He judges people. This life will be a test, so no one is dying for you, right? So obviously, God will put trial to some people, and God will eventually. So we have an afterlife paradigm. So whoever receive injustice, God will repay them on the afterlife, right? So now, question is, can we really appreciate good if there is no bad?
No, because they're relative terms.
So exactly. So that's why it's important. If there is no bad exists, the world, if there is everything good, the world would be not a place of interaction.
No.
It's a boring place. So
gotta be one
yeah,
without the other.
exactly. Yeah. So the reason we have pain, we also feel the gain, meaning we happiness and joy. So this life is a short term.
But I
Yeah.
do believe it's the only life. This isn't a rehearsal for something else that follows.
Yes.
This is it.
No. This is in what basis?
Because when a tree dies, when a squirrel dies, when a cat dies, it's over.
But that's one part. You missed another part?
Oh, yeah? When a human dies.
No.
Oh.
Say what you have said, and I'll conclude the
No,
full
I'm just
picture.
saying, when all life, when expired,
So, for example, let's say I see that tree died. Yeah.
yeah, or pigeon,
Let's say this tree dies. 5 years later, me and walking both you, we see this is dead land, right? Few days later, we see rain, and we see there is another tree coming up.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
well, it's an offshoot from the original tree.
No.
But when a cat dies, another cat doesn't come out.
No. It's not about cat. It's not about cat.
Well,
Look.
you can't use a tree in the same.
No, that tree actually tells you the full picture when it's regrowing. Why? Because that is a sign that you see in your eyes that once get something dead, it's not dead, it can be resurrected again. That shows that God sent an example in front of our eyes that yes, you've seen the half picture, but look at the full picture. Is God died, got rotten, but when the rain comes, we see the life goes again.
Yeah.
And this is an example of that God will recreate you. You think you're dead and God will not find you? No, that's not the. He will, because if someone can make you, look at the logic. Look at the very simple logic, yeah? If I can make this tripod and showed it to you, I have made it and you've seen in front of your eyes. Would you doubt me second time that I cannot create it?
No, because you have a serial number and you can trace it back to the person who
It doesn't matter. The whole point here, if I done it in one time, can I repeat it? Of course I can. The same way we are actually witnessing the Creator can create us, but then again we can believe, oh, He can do only one and He can't do it again. So that's a false, wrong belief we added to our ideas. We should be open. If He can create me, He should create me another time.
No, you have one life.
No, but that's a belief.
When
Why?
your brain
I said,
goes
give me a logical argument that God cannot recreate you, or you
Logical
cannot.
argument, because I mean, what evidence do you have that you just use all these theoretical?
Sorry, how long have you been looking at that question?
I haven't really been spending much time looking at it. It's just so obvious. If you see a bird or a cat or a dog at the side of the road, it's gone.
Okay,
It's dead.
so when you go home tonight, what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah, this is very relevant to that discussion. I'm bringing an example.
I don't know what I'm going to do when I get home.
Will you sleep?
Eventually,
Yes.
Watch a bit of television, maybe.
Yeah, watch telly, maybe have some dinner, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And maybe have some time with the families and whoever around,
Well,
right?
I'm married, but it's no children.
Fine. At least you have a partner, you can have a chat.
yeah.
Fine. But you'll go to the sleep. So,
Eventually,
Would you consider sleep is a temporary death?
Of course it is.
Yes.
No,
So
not a temporary death. It's just resting the brain and the body.
it doesn't matter. But because sleep is a pattern that we don't realize how time passed. Just like when people goes in the grave, they don't understand, they go to another realm. So we actually die every day and wake up every day in a temporal sense, right?
But we're still breathing and we still...
Yeah, fine.
brains
But
are still working.
breathing, but it doesn't mean that I'm conscious. Breathing means I'm conscious because we don't know how the time goes. So my question here, or my thought process here is, we actually reflect every day that we dead and we resurrect again. So if this is a sign was given to us for us to think, how can the total life will not be resurrected when I am noticing every day I sleep, I die temporarily, and I resurrected in the morning?
Yeah.
The will of God.
Yes.
So that shows, look, if we apply our rational faculties and extend to the theological understanding, we will have no objection specifically for the Islamic belief. Like I said, you don't brush Islam with other religion paint.
Well, I've got to, because all the religions are based on the same concept.
No, that's the fallacy of generalization, meaning I'm judging everybody with the same understanding. No. When I'm judging, I need to understand the person or the object or the belief before I rejecting them. That, if I don't do so, I'm probably rejecting something is truth there. That's why I'm saying, when the concept of Christianity, you grow up with that concept. We don't have that concept. I mean, we have many similarities, but do we believe someone has died for our sin? No, we don't believe that. We believe
convert sometimes.
Yeah, people convert because they realize this is truth.
They change
But
their views.
exactly. So when someone in Christianity, someone believes in original sin, that someone else will pay for the sin, we don't believe that. We believe that everyone will be accountable, and that is fair. Yeah, exactly. So everyone is. So if you look at the concept that, rather than looking at, oh, religion is controlling and all this fairy tale, this is also a preaching, by the way. We need to judge by the concept. Let's look at the concept. Is it reasonably comprehensible without a biased mind? It is. Then what's wrong with accepting Islam? That would be a question for many.
I've got nothing about, no problem with rejecting Islam, as I do with Christianity and Judaism.
No, I wouldn't say.
Any belief system.
No, I would say
Is that
no.
all based
We should
on
not have that mindset. We should have the mindset of accepting the truth, rejecting the false. Because if you accept the false, you actually collided truth with false.
Yeah, but who's deciding what's true? Who
Right,
makes that decision?
exactly. So now,
If you believe in something, you
no,
believe it's true.
no. There are
By
certain,
definition.
but there are certain things we all have common, which are our rational intellect, tools of reasoning. Yes,
That's right.
and that's we apply to find out the true God. And this is where I'm
No,
saying,
not the true God, the truth.
okay, true God or truth, whatever
I
you
don't
say.
believe in gods.
No, but
So
I mean,
to me, I'm being very irrational.
I mean,
And everybody else is irrational.
No. I would say you are rejecting what I am saying. You are correct in one paradigm to rejecting the false God, but rejecting the true God that logically follows, that would be irrational to me as well.
Yeah, because we have different perspectives.
No, but I'm saying,
to the
can it be
argument
otherwise?
from the-
I was waited for you to bring any argument to prove that being, you rejected 2099, 999.
No, you
which,
do.
No, we have demonstrated. We have
reject 3,000.
No,
You reject no.
I have demonstrated to you that why we both reject 2,999. Yes. By the way, it's a number.
3,000.
We're not actually saying
No,
this
but
is the number, but we
obviously
are using it as an
quoted is
example. Yes,
3,000
it's an example.
Yeah.
So we are saying, I am saying that I am rejecting 2,999.
You certainly are.
I am, and I have. You have agreed with my reasoning. I didn't just say, oh, I just wanted to believe all of our false, and that's why I reject. No, I haven't done that. What I had done, I demonstrated that through logical conclusion that we have to reject that things are that things that require someone else to bring into the creation their own existence. So therefore, how can someone God when they didn't exist by themselves? That's why we reject the false God. Now, that cannot be applied the one who is uncreated. By logically, we followed someone who's uncreated. Now, can I reject someone who is uncreated? No. So that means I should not reject the uncreated being. You have rejected the false, I agree. But you rejected the truth, that's not fair.
No, I just Blanket reject.
Like I said, that's
Everything
look.
considered a
No,
God.
now it's a matter of belief. Now it's not about logic or
Faith and belief.
yeah, faith. So that's your belief to reject.
I have no faith.
You have no, yeah,
belief.
and I'm not here, of course, to force you, but we have demonstrated to you. If you have consistent in your approach, you would have followed that uncreated Creator, and you would know which we have only one religion on that essence,
Well, yes.
and that you know.
I'm sure a Christian would say the same to me.
No, but Christian, you would have on the argument of dependency, you could have rejected Jesus Christ. So
Yeah, but
the
they
whole
don't
of the
believe it. Christians believe it.
no Christian. I mean, like I said, many people can believe many different
Different
things.
types of Christians.
People believe a tree is God. Doesn't mean that's true.
Of course not.
No, exactly. So a human being who eat food, who drinks, who goes to sleep, who goes to the toilet, call of the nature. Someone can call me his God. Do I have to believe in? No, I don't have to. I have some rational logic in mind. So if someone at a group believe, it doesn't make it correct. There is a certain way we need to find out the truth. And one of the ways we have demonstrated through our intellectual reason that what logical conclusion that follows. We should follow that uncreated Creator. Anyway, on that note, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a copy of the Quran? Have anyone given to you?
Please.